Lately, one of the most common questions I've been getting is, which phone should I get, the Reno 14 Pro or the Honor 400 Pro? So in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you with a quick but comprehensive comparison between both phones. That way, you can clearly see the differences and make a solid buying decision, without any bias toward any brand or model. Honestly, I personally believe both of these phones are some of the best currently available in the market. But before we dive into the details, you know the deal. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump right into the good stuff. As always, I'm going to divide the video into 6 key categories: design and build quality, display, performance, cameras, battery and charging, extra features that make daily use easier. In each category, whichever phone comes out on top gets 1 point. Design and build quality, let's keep it short here. The design edge clearly goes to the Oppo Reno 14 Pro. The build is more premium, and it comes in this unique new color called Mermaid, which is now kind of iconic for this series. The Honor 400 Pro also has great color options. I personally really like the silver gray version, but when it comes down to materials, the Reno 14 Pro has a metal aluminum frame. The Honor 400 Pro uses plastic for the frame. Both phones do come with glass backs, which is great. As for the size, Reno 14 Pro has 6.83-inch screen, but Honor 400 Pro has 6.7 screen, so the Reno is slightly larger. Now for the front design, Honor uses a dynamic island-style cutout that includes a 3D face unlock sensor, like the iPhone, while Reno has a simple punch-hole selfie camera. Both have super slim bezels that feel very flagship level. Also, Honor doesn't have a clearly specified screen protection layer, but does come with an SGS drop and shock-resistant certification. Reno is protected with Gorilla Glass 7. Both phones are also water and dust-resistant with high IP ratings, IP68, IP69, and they both weigh around the same. Reno, 201 gram, but Honor, 205 gram. Point goes to Reno 14 Pro because of that metal frame and slightly more premium build. Now, this is where things get really interesting. Both phones have great AMOLED displays with lots of advanced features. Impressive stuff for upper mid-range phones. Honor 400 Pro has resolution 1.5K, pixel density 442 ppi, HDR10+, 120Hz refresh rate, 3840Hz PWM dimming, brightness up to 5000 nits. Yes, it's insanely bright. It's not an LTPO panel, but it does have a smart dynamic refresh rate system to balance between 60 Hz and 120 Hz for better power efficiency. Reno 14 Pro has same 1.5K resolution, but with 450 ppi due to the slightly bigger screen. HDR10+, 120 Hz, 3840 Hz PWM dimming. But here's the catch. Brightness only goes up to 1200 nits. That's a huge difference. The Honor 400 Pro gets about 3 to 4 times brighter, making it way more visible even indoors. However, the color accuracy and touch response on the Reno feel better in general. But let's be fair, the brightness advantage is big. Point goes to Honor 400 Pro for the insane screen brightness. This one's a bit of a toss-up. Both phones pack serious power. Reno 14 Pro has MediaTek Dimensity 8450 for nanometers process, great for gaming. Runs PUBG at 120 frames per second no problem. Not MediaTek's top-tier chip, but still excellent. An Honor 400 Pro has Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, the flagship chip used in most top-tier Androids last year. Also capable of 120 frames per second gaming. Has an edge in thermal management and power efficiency. Now, on paper, the Reno's Dimensity chip might outperform in raw GPU power, but the Snapdragon chip runs cooler and sips less power, which matters in real-world use. So, both chips are excellent. You're honestly not going to notice much difference in day-to-day usage or even heavy gaming. Point to both, it's a tie in performance. Cameras. Let's go over the specs quickly. Reno 14 Pro has 3 rear cameras, all 50 megapixel, main, ultra-wide, and telephoto. Front camera, 50 megapixel. Honor 400 Pro has main, 200 megapixel, telephoto, 50 megapixel, ultra-wide, 12 megapixel. Front camera, also 50 megapixel. Real-world use. Honor's main lens captures more detail, thanks to that massive 200 megapixel sensor, but tends to oversaturate and gives a reddish tone. Reno delivers more natural colors and better white balance. Both phones handle dynamic range well, but Honor pulls ahead slightly in harsh lighting, like shooting into sunlight. Ultra-wide. Reno offers better detail and more realistic colors, while Honor gives a wider field of view but with less detail. Portraits. Reno wins with better edge detection and bokeh quality. Zoom in Reno can go up to 120x, but Honor up to 50x. Reno clearly wins in detail when zooming far. Low light. Both do great, but again, Reno handles color contrast and shadows better. Video and both shoot 4K at 60 frames per second. Stabilization is excellent on both. But Honor has issues with overexposing highlights, especially in HDR mode, causing some weird brightness fluctuations. No point given here. Both phones excel in different areas, so it really depends on your personal preference. Battery and charging. Here's where things get interesting again. Reno 14 Pro has 6,200 mAh battery, 80-watt wired charging, 50-watt wireless charging. Uses silicon carbon battery tech. Honor 400 Pro has 6,000 mAh battery, 100-watt wired charging, 50-watt wireless charging, also silicon carbon tech. So, on paper, Reno has a slightly bigger battery, but Honor charges faster. But, in actual use, Honor feels amazing at first, lasting nearly 2 full days. However, after a week or so, battery health starts to degrade noticeably, about 10% drop in 1 week. Reno, on the other hand, seems to better maintain battery health long-term. Also, the difference between 80-watt and 100-watt is about 5 minutes, so it's not a big deal. Point goes to Reno 14 Pro for better long-term battery performance. Extra features. Both phones offer under-display fingerprint sensor, not ultrasonic, NFC, IR blaster, dual SIM and eSIM support, solid GPS and other sensors. But here's where things differ. Honor 400 Pro has 3D Face Unlock like iPhone Face ID, super secure, and could replace fingerprint use entirely. Reno 14 Pro has a much better vibration motor, feels more premium, smoother when typing. The software is more fluid and optimized, faster animations, fewer bugs, fewer false touches. In contrast, Honor software occasionally lags or registers wrong touches, which makes it feel a bit clunky at times. Point goes to Reno 14 Pro for better UI fluidity and haptics. If the price is not a big deal for you, I'd say go with the Reno 14 Pro. It just offers a more refined, flagship-like experience. But if you want the best value and you're okay with a few trade-offs, the Honor 400 Pro is still an excellent choice. Final verdict. So what do you think? Which one would you choose? Reno 14 Pro or Honor 400 Pro? Let me know down in the comments. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe and hit the like button if you found this helpful. Thanks again. See you in the next one. Peace out.